Hi people, happy Passover, Resurrection Sunday. Hope you are good, hope you're well. This season is one that I think there's some things we often miss, that I want to just, share, how I'm thinking about it, and hopefully it'll help somebody. So I think the things that we often miss from the context of we think of this season a lot to do with what Jesus did for us. And I am really not downplaying it. Please do not hear me. Heaven hears my heart and heaven knows what I'm trying to communicate. But we think of it a lot to do with, like, in the context of a Christian, how Christians view it is, Friday, whether you think it's Friday, I'm thinking about your mathematics, but hey, Friday, Friday to Sunday. It's really, let me not argue about the days, but we say Good Friday, right? And then Sunday, today is the day that is like Jesus has risen. Friday he was on the cross, technically 1.5 days, but let's leave that behind. And then he had risen today, right? So if we think about it from that perspective, and the trick, well, I'll call it the trick, the thing that we often don't reflect on, because we often look at what Jesus did for us, and it's great, and it is the primary focus, of course, and that's even why we're, in relationship with God today, and why we have what we have with the Lord, and all of that. It's such an invitation, and it's so powerful. But I think that there's also reflection in this season. The more, I would say, like Jewish people, because Jewish people have Passover celebration. Some Christians do. I am a strong believer of Passover as well. You can argue whether we're way. I'm not here to discuss that. But the point, I think, whether or not you choose to acknowledge it or celebrate Passover, in that in the season of Passover, there are a lot of practices that are done, and one of them is that I've been in Israel at this time of year at least twice or thrice, probably more, and a lot of, like, the Jewish hotels, they don't allow, like, bread and things like that, things with yeast, what we will call leaven. So Passover is also called the Feast of Unleavened Bread or something like that. So what it is to say that you get the leaven out. So what Jewish people do is they get the leaven out of their home. Leaven is yeast, anything that causes, like, an agent that causes things to rise, basically. So they get that out of their home. And that's part of their culture to do that. And if we look at it in the modern day, or like in the context of what leaven means and the significance, it's actually, and because what they're doing is symbolic, it's meaning that they're getting rid of the things that cause sin. And if we look at it contextually, or more in our context, it would be anything that puffs up, because leaven is what causes bread to rise, for instance, or cake, or whatever it is. So it has a rising agent. So anything that puffs up, such as pride, sin, unforgiveness, all those things basically that cause things to rise. So it's the puffed up nature of life, the carnal nature, those things that are mentioned in Galatians 5, right? Yeah, like from 16, where it talks about the works of the flesh. All of those things, those are what you would consider to be leaven. I think this season is good for us to also reflect on the leaven. Lord, what is the leaven in my life that I need to leave behind? What are you alerting me to? What are the dealings of my heart that you're showing me that, have leaven in them that I need to, that I've just been ignoring for a while? But Lord, I really need to now come to you and submit those things to you, and go on a journey of really becoming more like God, more transformed, because that's the whole thing. Our journey with God is to be more and more transformed into the image of God. So we see things, we see people, situations, everything from God's perspective. We submit ourselves to the dealings of God. The dealings of God are not always comfortable. Let me tell you, jeez, I had to this today. They're not always comfortable, but they get you to be more and more like him. You see people from his perspective. You see situations from his perspective. So maybe my question, our reflection, I've been thinking about it all week as well, is what is the leaven I'm leaving behind? Is it lying? Some of you, no. Some people have like habits that are not pleasing to him. They just lie on autopilot. Is it envy? Is it jealousy? Those things. So leave the leaven behind. Reflect on that. I pray you're blessed. Have a lovely, lovely rest of the holiday season, and make sure you take some time out to spend quality time with God.